What if you had an ancient map of your life? I don't mean a personality profile. I mean a blueprint, something that laid out the entire timeline of your fate. Well, today on The Explainer, we are digging into a system of astrology that was lost for nearly 2,000 years, a system that promised to do exactly that.
Okay, to get our heads around this, let's start with a really strange but true story. An astrologer gets asked to use a birth chart to solve a mystery. A teacup pig has been stolen, and the main suspect? The neighbor of the owner's brother's ex-wife. I know, it sounds absolutely ridiculous, but in modern astrology, that's actually a solvable puzzle. So, how on earth does that work?
Well, it starts with this foundational idea: your birth chart isn't just about you. It's a symbolic map of your entire world and every single person in it, from your mother to your boss to, yes, the neighbor of your brother's ex-wife. You just have to know where to look.
So to find our pignapper, you have to do a little bit of cosmic detective work. See, the chart is split into 12 sections called houses, and each one rules a different part of life. So, step 1, we find the brother. Siblings are always in the 3rd house. Easy enough. Next, his wife, or ex-wife, is 7 houses away from his house. A little spin of the wheel lands us in the 9th house. Then her neighbor is 3 houses away from her house, which brings us all the way around to the 11th house of the original chart. And boom, there's our suspect.
This clever technique is called derivative houses. It's basically like taking that pie chart of your life and just turning it, so that any slice can become a new starting point. It's this super flexible, modern way to explore that whole web of relationships that are all contained right there in your life's map. And this visual illustrates the concept perfectly. You just take the slice of the pie that represents, say, your brother, and you treat that as the beginning of a whole new chart. It lets you map out his entire world, all from within your own. But, and this is a huge but, this modern psychological way of using astrology is a universal way from where it all began.
You see, the original form of this astrology had a totally different focus. Modern astrology is all about your potential. It asks, what can you become? Ancient astrology, it was all about destiny. It asked a much starker question: what will become of you? It wasn't a tool for self-discovery, it was a tool for knowing your fate.
This incredibly sophisticated system was born in the melting pot of Hellenistic Egypt, way back around the 1st century BCE. It was this amazing blend of Greek philosophy, Egyptian religion, and Babylonian astronomy. This wasn't some simple party trick. It was a complex, serious, intellectual practice.
And they took it so seriously. Just listen to this. The 4th century astrologer Firmicus Maternus actually made his students swear an oath to protect this knowledge. This wasn't just information to them. It was considered a sacred teaching, almost like a revelation of the divine order of the cosmos. So here's the crucial point. The goal wasn't to try and change your fate. It was to prepare for it. The idea was that by understanding the script of your life, you could face the good times with gratitude and the hard times with courage and resilience, because you knew they were coming. But how in the world did they claim to know the future? Well, it was through the most powerful and most recently rediscovered part of this whole ancient system, its predictive timing techniques. They used these things called Time Lord techniques. And the basic idea is that your birth chart is just packed with potential, good stuff, bad stuff, all of it. But not all of it is active at once. These techniques are like a switch. They pinpoint which parts of your chart, and therefore which parts of your life, are switched on during specific years, months, or even days.
Two of the most important systems that have been rediscovered are annual perfections. That's kind of like a clock that highlights a new theme in your life every year on your birthday. And the much more complex zodiacal releasing, which basically maps out the major chapters and even the subplots of your entire life story. Let's see that one in action.
Okay, so here is the birth chart for the actor Charlie Sheen. Using a technique like zodiacal releasing, ancient astrologers would have claimed that they could outline the major chapters of his career decades before any of it happened.
And when you look at it, the correlation is pretty startling. According to this ancient technique, a 15-year peak career period for Sheen started in 1993. And what happened? He became the highest-paid actor on TV. Then, in 2008, that period ended and a new 12-year difficult chapter began. And almost right on cue, his public career began that famous unraveling.
But the system doesn't just map career highs. It also claims to pinpoint periods of profound, life-altering difficulty. And to see that, we have to turn to a much more somber and frankly chilling example, the chart of Nicole Brown Simpson.
Her chart indicated that her most difficult life period would be governed by the sign Capricorn, where the very challenging planet Saturn was placed. According to the Time Lord system, that dangerous 27-year-long chapter was switched on in November of 1993. Just 7 months later, she was murdered.
And you see similar patterns elsewhere. The same techniques, when applied to actor Christopher Reeve's chart, highlighted his love of travel and his incredible fame. But they also pointed to a specific, difficult period that was activated in 1987, the exact chapter of his life during which the horse-riding accident that left him paralyzed occurred.
So, if this system was so powerful, why isn't it common knowledge? I mean, why are we only hearing about it now? Well, it's because it was almost completely lost. After the fall of Rome, knowledge of Greek basically vanished in Western Europe. The texts were thankfully preserved and even built upon in the Islamic world, but only little bits and pieces ever made their way back during the Renaissance. The bottom line is, for nearly 2,000 years, the complete systematic practice of Hellenistic astrology, especially its most powerful predictive techniques, effectively just disappeared from the Western tradition. It's only been within the last 30 years or so, thanks to a massive academic effort, that the original Greek texts have been fully retranslated. It's allowed us to see this system as it was originally intended for the first time in millennia. It's like finding a lost science.
The rediscovery of this ancient map of fate brings a very old question roaring back to life. It really challenges our modern ideas of self-determination, and it asks us to seriously consider a worldview where the story of our life might be written down long before we ever live it. And so the question it leaves us with is the same one the ancients wrestled with. Is your life written in the stars, or do you hold the pen?